Hi, I'm Rob,
I'm Cassie.
and today we're going to talk about the misconceptions people have about life here in China. Okay, so misconception number one. Everywhere in China is highly polluted and looks something like this. Okay, so speaking to our experiences, we can say that not everywhere in China is highly polluted and is actually quite green. There's a New York Times article recently that spoke to China's war on pollution. So in the last 5 years, China has cut down on emissions and the particles they refer to in the air. They've cut down on that by 32% in major cities. This has been from a measure of shutting down coal-powered plants in the most highly polluted areas. So go China, kind of leading the world on that one.
And also from our experience, like we've been in Fuzhou for a few years now. Today is a beautiful blue sky day. There are definitely days when it's polluted, without a doubt. But then there is same when I was living in London as well. But here, generally it's okay. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to claim that China is smashing it 100%. But I think they've acknowledged there's a problem because you can see it. And they are just coming at it hard and saying,
Yeah. Misconception number 2, diversity. There is the idea that the whole of China is just full of Chinese people and lacks diversity. And in some places that's true. The majority of the population are Han Chinese. However, if you do get out and explore more of the country, there's actually a lot of ethnic minorities. There's actually 55 officially recognized ethnic minorities in the whole of China. And figures have put that to actually be more. But in terms of officially recognized, that's pretty cool.
yeah, it's a lot more diversity than most countries can speak to. I recently went to Harbin where you could see the effect that sharing a border with Russia had on the culture there, and how they've taken a lot of that Russian culture and made it their own through the products they sell and the cuisine they serve, whether it's like Russian-style dumplings or sausages, and it's really cool to see that. Misconception number 3, censorship in China. Now, I don't think anyone can make the case that there is no censorship in China, because it certainly exists, but we are coming to you likely via YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. So, the answer is, as a foreigner, you get a VPN and it doesn't affect you.
Yeah. VPNs are generally pretty reliable. Every foreigner here at York English has one, and it's just a way to keep up on your social media in the same way. So, as you know, Rob and I work at York English, and Rob is our video producer, primarily focused on YouTube. I'm a social media manager, and here we are, years later, still working on social media in China. Okay, misconception number 4 is that China is a purely communist country. Now, I don't know about your family, but mine definitely think that I live in some North Korean regime with no electricity and a heavily militarized state. Not to get into the politics, but China really isn't like that. Right behind us now is a really cool coffee shop, coffee beans from around the world. Yes, it is a communist state in name. There's a communist party that rule it. However, capitalism is very much alive. Would you agree?
Yeah, so what we have is like a lot more goods and trade from around the world happening, and with the trade of goods, you're getting a trade of ideas, and people here go to other countries, they're worldly, they know what's going on, yeah, like they're up on their politics, and they understand what's going on in the world, and it's definitely not what you'd expect from a military, dictatorship sort of situation,
Yeah.
which just isn't the case.
Yeah, and you can find McDonald's, Walmart, Starbucks, everything. Okay, next misconception is population and overcrowdedness. So when most people think about China, they think, oh, it's the country with the biggest population in the world. And that's true, it's like 1.3 billion people, which is crazy.
It's a huge amount of people.
Huge amount of people. But then they also forget that China's a massive country. So we're not all walking around squished and with no room like this.
I think like China definitely has its moments. I think a lot of people have seen the clips of like rush hour here and like the kind of like lawless roads and That maybe like some of the time, and like it's comparable to rush hour back home. Like in Auckland, New Zealand, where I come from, people think of New Zealand as very like, very small, not a huge amount of people, which is very true, but I can still sit in traffic for an hour to get to work, whereas here it takes me 15 minutes. So, it's not kind of what it's made out to be.
No, definitely not. You have to think about the big mega cities like Beijing and Shanghai with the amount of people there. It's crazy. It is a lot of people. But then those cities are huge. They're really, really sprawling and really built out. So actually it doesn't always feel as crowded as the amount of people that actually live there.
Yeah. And studies show that the more crowded a place is, the more efficient it becomes, which is true. I looked stuff up.
I'm sure you do. One thing though, Chinese New Year, don't travel during Chinese New Year if you don't like crowds, because that is the exception to the rule. Chinese New Year is definitely very, very crowded.
That's when all the people from different areas want to crisscross in the skies, and equals no one being happy.
No one is happy.
And the last misconception most people have about China is that they eat dog. How could you eat this? Insert photo of cute dog. Now, what the truth is that there is one area of China that this does go on, but most people here would find that abhorrent.
And they'd be a bit embarrassed by it, to hear that this is what people think of them. And
Yeah,
I
100%.
haven't eaten dog. Have you eaten dog?
Never seen it on a menu. There's actually so many hits here, so the attitude towards animals, I think, in China is changing. It's getting there, and the idea of like taking Lassie out back and finding the nicest cups to serve up.
No, that's
I mean, it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't
So,
happen.
apart from that one area.
Apart from that
So, you know what? Everyone's got that cousin. They're like, that's Jim, but he doesn't represent all the Hartnells. Okay?
Is that your real cousin?
Well, they say that about me.
Oh,
Yeah. No. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to find out more about life in China. If you'd like to find out about teaching with York English, you can go to yorkenglishcareers.com. For just catching up with us in general, you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram and every other social media platform.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Bye.